Rent in Nigeria. It's like they're playing a game and we are just pawns. A one-bedroom apartment can cost an arm and a leg. And don't even get me started on the service charges. As the service charges for what? For the broken tiles or leaky roof, the perpetual noise pollution. It's a menace. Let's talk about landlords, for instance. They are the real MVPs. They hike the rent every year like clockwork without so much as a leak of paint or a new fixture just to justify it. You are just grateful if they don't throw in a developmental levy for good measure. People are forced to shell out a year's salary for a year's rent just to have a roof over their head. And God forbid you want to negotiate. They'll just tell you to take it or leave it. It's like they are doing you a favor by letting you live in their meager property. The government seems to be asleep at the wheel, and we are the ones paying the price. Rent control, you say? That's just a myth, a pipe dream. Until something changes, we'll just keep paying through the nose, wondering how we got stuck in this never-ending cycle. In the heart of Nigeria, a silent crisis brews, hidden behind the facade of bustling cities and vibrant markets. It's a crisis that touches the lives of millions, a struggle that echoes through the night, and a dream that seems perpetually out of reach, the dream of a home. For the overcrowded streets of Lagos, for instance, to the sprawling suburbs of Abuja, the housing crisis in Nigeria has become a defining fixture for modern life. Families are forced to live in cramped makeshift apartments, paying exorbitant rents that consume more than half their income. Young professionals are priced out of the market, relegated to sharing tiny apartments with strangers. The elderly struggle to find affordable housing, their golden years marred by financial stress. As the population grows and urbanization accelerates, the demand for housing far outstrips supply. The government's efforts to address the crisis has been piecemeal, inadequate, and often ineffective. Corruption, inefficiency, bureaucratic red tape have hindered progress, leaving millions of Nigerians to fend for themselves in a market that seems rigged against them. The rent crisis grappling our nation demands comprehensive response from our government. We can no longer afford to ignore the struggles of citizens forced to dedicate excessive portion of their income to rent, often without access to decent housing. We demand policymakers, developers, stakeholders to work together to address this menace, or should I call it a pandemic, by implementing and enforcing policies that will cap rent increases, protect tenants from exorbitant hikes. Investing in affordable housing projects and increasing the supply of decent affordable homes would also be a solution. Offering subsidies and incentives to developers, encouraging them to build affordable housing units, and also strengthening tenant protection laws, safeguarding against unfair eviction and exploitation. This way, we can ensure that every Nigerian has access to a safe, affordable place called home. Welcome to Breakfast Extra. I am Dakpo Adegboye, sitting in for Mazino. And of course, I'm not alone. I have Judith Atibi. Judith, good morning.
Dakpo, good morning to you, and well done with the monologue. I mean,
thank you.
You're giving them solutions. You think they're deaf?
Yesterday, when I had a conversation with the producer, and he said, "Oh, Dakpo, would you like to, write the monologue?" I said, "Why not?" And so I thought, what is pressing? And I know I've been on this issue. I've even had to speak on it, on PHQ. And that is the cost of rent. It's outrageous.
It's outrageous.
It's outrageous. I mean, if the minimum wage is 77,000 naira, maybe someone should do the math for me in the background, times 12. And you are telling someone in an economy that the minimum wage is 77,000 naira, You're telling them to cough out as high as 1.5, 1.2, 1.3, some 2 million, some 3 million.
Right.
And then they use the word, it's proximity. From here, you can locate every other place in Lagos in less than 10 to 5 minutes.
Right.
You know,
I mean, if you calculate 7,000 times 10, that will be 770,000 naira.
Judith.
So if you do...
Yeah, exactly. That's not even up to a million.
Yes, exactly. So it's up to a million. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to.
So how do you expect somebody who, a society that the minimum wage is 77,000 naira, and when you do the sum math per year, it's not even up to a million. How do you expect such an individual to be able to afford a decent accommodation? I think it really needs government intervention. I've had some people say, it's the private sector. Look, telecommunication is run by the private sector, right? But there is a regulatory body. You cannot just come into the industry and say you want to put a price because you feel, you have to stay in business. No, you have to follow what the regulatory body demands.
Right.
The same thing too for power. It's an essential necessity. It's not negotiable. You might set whatever power plant you want, but at the end of the day, there's a regulatory body that controls, your pricing, your operation, and all of that. I think the same thing should be applicable to rent. I hear people say, materials are expensive. The same builders will build in Lagos, and then the price they charge in Lagos for their so-called POP apartment. When you go to places like Ibadan, even Ogun State, some parts of it, you see better houses, but for lower price. So I think it's just greed, to be honest.
Now, I have another take, but I wouldn't take it now. I think that let's just first of all bring in our viewers, and then when you come over here, we're going to dissect together.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Well done.
Thank you.